Pakistan is monitoring the Indian airspace funded by China. The Chinese ambassador just took a public dig at the NEET scam. Why is China suddenly behaving like this? Because they've identified India as a threat.
At the Shangri La Summit in Singapore, India confirmed a $629 million deal to sell BrahMos missiles to Vietnam.
12 years of negotiations finally signed.
BrahMos is not a regular missile. It travels at Mach 3, three times the speed of sound.
Very few countries make anything like this. And then May 2025 came Operation Sindhu.
India fired BrahMos at 11 Pakistani air bases in a single night. Not one was intercepted. Philippines operational since 2024. Vietnam just signed. Indonesia finalizing.
Malaysia and Thailand are also in discussions with India. And why are they choosing to buy from India specifically? It is because firstly the US model comes with strings. US has been an extremely unreliable partner in the past few years. And then there are the sanctions that are there, etc. And then why not the China model? China just signed a 99-year lease with Sri Lanka for the Hambantota port because Sri Lanka could not service its debt. So it comes with debt and dependency. The India model comes with neither. So all these countries are all making sovereign decisions for themselves and arriving to the same conclusion. Now, what does China think of all of this? Beijing has responded in two registers.
Register 1 Dismissal. After India conducted its first ever joint naval drill with the Philippines last July, Global Times quoted Chinese military expert Song Zongping say from a military standpoint, if India truly attends exercises off the Philippine coast, its real purpose may be to showcase its naval prowess and sees the opportunity to market and export its weapon system.
Just arms says nothing strategic, move along. This is China's consistent line. Frame it as a manufactured fear and not a legitimate response to something that is actually going on.
Register 2 Threat. The same drill produced a statement from Senior Colonel Tian Junli. His words, the Philippines has been rallying an external country to interfere in the South China Sea by organizing so called joint patrols, which undermine regional peace and stability. But here's what China is actually calculating about the strategic picture. Chinese military simulations suggest 24 to 36 BrahMos missiles could significantly damage a Chinese carrier battle group. The Philippines has batteries covering Scarborough Shoal and the Second Thomas Shoal, areas that China actively contests. Vietnam's missiles in the north cover the Gulf of Tonkin, directly threatening warships sailing out of Hainan, which is China's main naval base. Indonesia covers the approaches to the Strait of Malacca from the eastern side. Chinese analysts counter that Vietnam and the Philippines lack the long range radar to identify targets for BrahMos. But for fixed targets like Scarborough Shoal, which China occupies and everyone exactly knows where it is, you don't need advanced radar.
In Beijing's own assessment, India is pursuing multiple objectives simultaneously. So, firstly, there is the fact that India is using the water to win disputes that it can't do over land. It is positioning itself as a reliable arms exporter. Then, it is also building maritime partnerships in Southeast Asia. China cannot rule out the possibility of Vietnam and Philippines coordinating their BrahMos deployments. Then also this is creating basically a long-term relationship due to software update cycles, then spare parts requirements, and then also training coordination that India will do with these countries that will outlast any individual government, and China can see this, which is why it is rattled. China isn't being paranoid about encirclement, it is genuinely being enclosed. And every move that it made to escape that map, basically every coercive petrol, every aggressive move, uh, as in an artificial island, basically push the surrounding states to arm up even more. What BrahMos is creating is a distributed network of supersonic postal strike abilities all across the South China Sea, which is one of the most contested maritime theaters in the world. What this does is it creates a layered maritime denial corridor which stretches from the Western Pacific to the Indian Ocean. And what this means is that since so many sovereign territories have this system, China cannot target one of them without starting a war, right? And since these are mobile systems, even targeting them is difficult. Necklace of diamonds, where China has built port infrastructure and debt dependency, India is building defense relationships. And each BrahMos sail is a node in a network that mirrors China's string of pearls, but through sovereign military capability and rather than loans. Basically, countries that buy BrahMos are buying their own deterrence, and India doesn't owe them, they don't owe India a lease. And many Indian military planners are basically calling a BrahMos armed Vietnam an eastern counterweight to China. Strategic autonomy is working very well in India's favor right now when everybody needs India. The US needs India as a democratic counterweight. Then there is also all these Asian countries require India as a supplier without strings. But these conditions can change quickly, and India needs to be relevant even after they change. Basically, when US and China reach some sort of equilibrium, then India will matter less to Washington. Then also, if European defense exports increase, then India's market advantage will shrink. According to Ray Dalio, all of these transitions have a specific window. The transition can take decades, but the window when a country is able to establish its position in the new upcoming world order is very short. Now, deal took 12 years and it almost did not happen. It only moved because of the Caliban attacks, which forced the acceleration. This is the pattern that India needs to break. India often knows the right move, but it only waits for a crisis to play that move with urgency instead of taking the decision properly while the window is open. The right foundations need to be built with follow through, capital, political follow through, and economic follow through while this window is open, because the compounding that will happen after that is irreversible. So, India often knows the right move, but the question that we are left with is, will India play the right moves fast enough so it is actually able to establish its position well after the transition happens?